You are listening to an exclusive on PodHub Network. Your city, your podcast.
To the delight of this crowd, McClendon marches down the dugout steps with first base. McCutcheon's throw. The runner breaks to the plate. Here's the throw. Wow. It is out. The Buccos win.
That ball's hit well to left center field. Back toward the track. And that ball is gone.
You are listening to the North Shore 9 podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, make sure to watch NS9 Live every Thursday on Twitch and help support by becoming a patron. Let's go Bucks!
Yo. Yo. Welcome to NS9 Live. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. Trying to get a late inning earbud replacement. With me, we have Jim Rosati and Tyler. Tyler, Jim, can't hear you, but what's up, everyone?
It's the North Shore 9 difference.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening. So you're coming through my speaker a little bit.
Jim, let's just sit here in
I
silence
can't get
and
this
see
damn
what
button
DiNardo
on.
does.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Let's just not say anything. Just stare at him.
No, I'm talking. This is a great job. Everyone's the two people that are like, you know what, we don't want to watch football, we'll watch NS9 Live instead. Are like, yeah, let's watch the Cowboys now. I'm dead serious. Why won't this go on?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not that
Don't
complicated. My earbud, the piece on it,
Oh my god.
it should just snap on.
So, Tyler, how's your day been going?
It's one day closer to Friday, Jim, and one day closer to real football. We got
That's
some
true.
big games this weekend.
I mean,
Buckeyes,
big games
Oregon?
Big games this weekend. Big game tonight. I mean, NFL starts tonight, so that's pretty cool.
Also, why we're recording early.
Yeah,
It is.
recording early so we can watch that. When's your fantasy football / gambling podcast going to start, Tyler?
We're looking at 2025,
2025. Okay.
Yeah. around the time that sports betting comes legal in Ohio.
It is kind of crazy, I guess. Well, how far are you from Pennsylvania? Like, how far of a drive?
Probably the closest way to Pennsylvania is probably like 20 minutes.
So if you like really had to, you could just get in your car, drive across the state line.
Yeah, I
go back.
I work probably 10 minutes from West Virginia.
Gotcha. No, it was nice. Monday.
But after work, like I don't want to drive across the border and go place a bet.
Yeah. No, it was nice. Monday here, I was across the river in Indiana. So, I was able to bet. I was able to put some bets in while I was over there. So that was nice. But yeah, I don't know what we're going to be like the last state to get it.
Yeah. I think it's pretty much been approved in Ohio, but they can't get it through Senate.
Stupid Senate.
Just let me bet legally so I don't have to use an offshore account.
Right.
Yeah, right. That'd be nice.
It's coming to Florida if it's not already. I don't even know. I don't think so, but it's coming.
Like I'm trying to give the state money.
Right. Which is like, not typically what you want to do. Odd story. I took a screenshot because I was like, what is this? So I got a phone call today from Sports Service in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I answered it. And it was, like I said, it was really, really strange. But, how it's like not so much of a recording, but like there was this delay and then someone came on the line. So like it was definitely like a robocall or something. And the guy comes on the line. He's like, hey, this is, I didn't get his name, but blah, blah, blah from sports accounts or something like that. I have a question for you. And I was like, yeah, sure. And the reason I answered too, I saw Sports Services. I don't know if it's like some opportunity for North Shore 9 by any means or something. Normally I wouldn't answer that, but I'm like, I don't know. Philadelphia sports. Let's answer. Find out. Guy calls me, goes, so I'm interested to know, do you gamble on sports? And I said, no. And he hung up on me. That was the end of the call.
He was like, loser.
I was like, what WTF? What was this about? But yeah, that guy just called me. He's like, do you gamble on sports? I said, no. And he hung up. I guess I wasn't his market right there.
Maybe he was recruiting. Maybe he was a bookie. He was recruiting people.
That could be.
Aside from that, we got 22 games left.
22 games left. Thank God.
Yeah. Well,
misery's almost over.
I think Jim answered it right there. I was going to ask you. So, right, there is 22 games left. You'll hear the theme of our show today is kind of like the rest of the year. We're going to talk and give some of our players what we want to see from them the rest of the year. But with just 22 games remaining, October 3rd being the last game versus the Reds at 3:05 p.m., but who's counting? Are you guys kind of anxious for this season to be over at this point?
Yes.
There's still some things I want to see, but yeah, I mean, the baseball has gotten really bad. The games aren't really very entertaining anymore. Other things are starting, right? So yeah, I'm kind of ready for this season to just get over, get done with it. No more injuries, and let's move on to the off season.
It's not so much that I'm ready for it to end, although I am. I'm more ready to get on to the off season.
Right, because I mean, with the way the team is currently constructed, right, there's not really a whole lot to be excited about right now. So it's like, let's get to the part where like stuff might happen.
It's like when at the beginning, or like in June when we were waiting on the deadline.
Yep.
It's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, I'm like in the middle of both of you. I feel exactly like how Tyler says. Like Jim says, the baseball is bad, and it is. There's been some interesting moments, like that Cubs series was entertaining, but it was entertaining because of really how bad the baseball was. Right? It was almost just it was a disgrace to watch. But and then you have games like last night where it was just boring. Just very boring. And that's seemed to be more of the theme lately, like boring games. At least at the beginning part of the year, we talked about how the Pirates are bad, but the games were kind of entertaining, right? They were interesting to watch. That's gone. And then on the other side of it is the fact, like how Tyler said, is for the most part, I feel like I've seen mostly what I need to see of this year, right? I mean, there's only 22 games. I don't think much is going to really change your mindset in 22 games, even though we're going to talk about what we want to see happen the rest of the year. But, I think I've pretty much seen mostly what I need to see. I'm ready to just move forward to 2022. Like, let's talk off season. Let's make some moves. Let's make some transactions. Because to me, this season's getting kind of stale.
Stale is a very good way to put it.
Yeah, and you mentioned boring. Like the other thing too is like some of these games are just they're taking forever. Like I don't know. Like Sunday's game took so long. It was a 4-hour and 12-minute game. I mean, it's weird. Like you have a Sunday afternoon game, game's over, and like your entire day's done with. Like that's not how it's supposed to be. But that's what happens, when you get to this stage of the year, and you've got these teams who, most of these teams suck. Right? There's only a handful of teams that basically are still playing for a playoff spot right now, right? Yeah.
Which is
so you've got these teams, right? So you've got these teams who are playing for a playoff spot. You've got everybody else who's just done, given up, and these teams that have given up, their pitching staffs are so terrible, right? They're starting pitchers. They're going three innings tops, right? So then you end up throwing 7 relief pitchers every outing, and yeah, it's getting a little ridiculous because they just take forever. Bullpen, all these relief pitchers. I don't know what you're doing to our faces here on the screen.
Yeah, I just realized I had the calendar up over you guys. It's officially moved now.
I was like, what in the world? But no, the games just are taking forever. They're boring, like you said. If they are entertaining, it's because it's so bad that it's entertaining. So yeah, let's get this season over with. Move on to next year.
We don't really see the young guys that we were maybe hoping to see at this point.
That's another thing. There's these September call-ups. Like there's nothing exciting about them.
No, I don't. I'm good on not seeing Hoy Park anymore. Yoshi's the only entertainment, probably.
Right. I mean, that's correct. I think Hoy Park needs the at-bats, right? Like Ben Charrington should see more of him. But I no longer am saying I'm anticipating and excited to see Hoy Park, right? Whereas Yoshi, like, okay, give me Yoshi. Let's every single day, because I'm excited because he's going to hit a home run and probably give you something very, very interesting to watch in the field. So, so like, I'm excited for Yoshi. Hoy Park, I've lost my luster for.
Yeah, it's different if we have like Swaggerty up here right now.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, that's probably the only one. Maybe Mason Martin, even though I'm not excited at all about him. But just something different.
Right.
Really, for the most part, it's been the same guys all year with a sprinkle of dog shit.
Oh, I mean, more than a sprinkle. There's been a lot of those. This team, I forget the counting number now, but how many pitchers has the Pirates used this year? Or are we, we're into the 40s now, aren't we?
Yeah, we're well into the 40s as far as players.
It's a minor miracle that they've made it this far without that many Tommy Johns.
That is true.
I guess that's what happens when you don't have good stuff and you're throwing.
Which that's a positive thing. That's good that there's none of those Tommy Johns.
Stuff plus.
Yeah, no, no Tommy Johns have been good. No Tommy Johns since the beginning of the actual season. So knock on wood. Keep that up.
Avoided, hopefully, with, well, I'm not even going to say, well, I guess I have to now. Yahuri and Ronzi.
Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully avoided those two. Because if those two go down next year, might be in the shitter too.
Oh, I mean, yeah. If you have Tommy John at this point in the year, you're done for next year.
Oh, I know. I'm saying those are two guys that you're hoping to be in the rotation at some point, hopefully next year.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, you want to make sure that they're healthy.
Right. So, like, the one caveat with the remaining 22 games is there are 3 series versus the Reds. So, Pirates-Reds series are kind of usually interesting. Not so much for the performance, but I don't know how much bad blood's really in there still. But again, the Reds are also a playoff team, so Pirates can potentially play spoiler with them. They also play the Phillies, they play the Cubs, they play the Marlins, and this upcoming series tomorrow against the Nationals. So also a lot of bad teams they play. So more uninspiring baseball. Hey, though, Juan Soto will be at the game next 3 days.
What was the over-under?
A good point, though. What, for wins?
Yeah.
I think it was like the Vegas one.
Yeah.
I think Vegas had like 59.5.
10 and 12 the rest of the way, Donardo?
No. Because even though all these other teams stink, so do the Pirates.
I will say this, like, the one bright spot, I would love to see the Pirates have a hand in the Reds missing the playoffs. And that's a few reasons here. First off, I hate the Reds. I don't want them to make the playoffs. And two, like, I much rather want to see the Padres in that wild card game over the Reds. Like, no one wants to see the Reds over the Padres in a wild card game. So please, let's do our part. Take a few games, maybe win 4 out of those 9 games against the Reds, right? And help San Diego clinch that second wild card spot. That's what we need to happen.
I mean, I'm all for that. You know, if there's one thing, if you're going to be a bad team this time of the year, you at least want to try to play spoiler. And what better team to do it than not only just even an in-division team, but it's the Reds of all teams. Like, not even the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals are definitely another team that you would like to see. But again, just the bad blood between the Reds and the Pirates these past few years. I would love for the Pirates to do something, and then, you know, Amari Garrett just gets all pissed off again and runs towards the dugout, and, you know, and then Yasiel Puig just appears out of nowhere into the fight too, and
Amari
Right.
Garrett.
Yes, Amari Garrett. Amir Garrett.
Is he related to Stoudemire?
He is. There's definitely an apostrophe in that E before that E too.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, so I think that's like the one mission I think this team has is to keep the Reds out of the playoffs.
Just make shirts.
Yeah. Because I don't think the first or second overall pick is in play. Like the Diamondbacks and the Orioles are just too bad. Like I don't
feel
think
you there.
I really don't think we can catch them. So it's right now it's like, are they going to be third or fourth? And it's really just going to depend on, how we play and the Rangers play.
The good news though, top 4 is definitely a lock. Like
top
it's
4 is
a
a
lock.
lock.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. We are locked into a top 4 pick. So
Let's
let's
just team this bad and like still possible they're gonna have a 4th pick.
Because God, those Orioles and Diamondbacks teams are so bad. I can't even imagine them. Like I haven't watched any Orioles games this year, but like imagine being an Orioles fan. They're way worse than the Pirates. How's that even possible?
And if you're an Orioles fan, you just watch like all 3 of your running backs go down.
that and you just see your team get just beat on by the Red Sox, Yankees, and Blue Jays just like constantly, and the Rays.
But on top of that, this is also like the
killing your
3rd
teams.
or 4th year of watching it. Like at least for the Pirates, it's been bad, but this is like the 2nd year of really bad. For the Orioles, they've been bad for a while.
Are the Orioles even rebuilding? Or are they just bad?
They're just
I mean,
treading.
they have a pretty good farm system.
Do they? I haven't looked at it.
They haven't cracked the majors yet. So I mean, really, Cedric Mullins is like that first guy to make it, but he wasn't really part of this rebuild. He just
kind of appeared.
Happened to, he just kind of appeared. But
it was like
I guess
I didn't know if they
Mountcastle. Mountcastle's probably like that first guy to come up from that rebuild, and so I think Adley will probably be next year. He was just brought up to AAA, so you'll start seeing the guys make debuts here soon.
Because it feels like they've just been perpetually terrible, other than a few years here and there.
Yeah, well, Curtis Davis will do that to you.
Yes.
But moving on from the Orioles. Yes, so the Reds, that does add some intrigue, but even with that, I would much rather be October 4th right now in Pirates world to just be able to evaluate the whole season, watch MLB playoffs, and then look forward to the 2022. Like, let's really start talking about 2022. Let's start talking about the offseason plans and go from there. But it is what it is. We still have 22 games left to watch. So I don't know if you want to get into the segment now or if there's anything else you guys wanted to bring up and talk about.
No,
just don't let it be the Orioles. It's depressing enough to talk about one bad team.
I was given specific instructions not to take this place off track today.
We're not talking about Jack Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although I will say Jack Wilson did win a Silver Slugger at shortstop in one really weird year.
Okay.
So going back to this team, 22 games left.
Remember when he was traded?
Yeah, so
No, I don't. No.
Was Seattle in the playoffs at all then too, or were they still? Did that start then? All right. Enough of that tangent. Tyler's really
Was he
thinking.
part of the?
All
He
right,
went to
so
Seattle, right? And that was Ronnie Cedeno. Did he? Who
Yeah.
got back? And Jeff Clement.
Yep.
Okay.
No, Clement wasn't him. Clement was the Snell deal,
No.
wasn't it?
Was
Or was it?
was Jack Wilson and Snell in the same deal?
Oh, actually, I think maybe you're right. I think it might have been the same deal. So that makes sense. Kind of want to make sense to have two separate deals.
Yeah, because that was the same year they traded Freddie Sanchez or Tim Alderson.
Yeah, which I really liked. But
Yeah.
okay,
Then he
okay,
then he quit doing his long toss
2021.
program.
Jim's seething right now. He's so pissed. All right. Hey, at least Jim, we haven't done the quiet game on you for a while. So,
I'm just playing the quiet game on you guys.
but you just spoke. You lose. All right. So one thing we want to talk about and bring up today was, again, with the rest of the season, only 22 games left. Let's kind of talk and switch it up a little bit. So, albeit there is just 22 games left of the season, if you haven't heard that for the 20th time tonight, we're going to pick a batter and a pitcher and talk what do we want to see out of them for the rest of this season to head into 2022. And Tyler, I'll let you start first.
So are we starting good or pitchers or hitters?
You choose.
Just so we can
Whoever
stay-
you follow your path.
All right. Well, then I will start this bad boy off with the guy that I really didn't want to see any more of about 2 years ago when they acquired him. And my pick's Chris Stratton. I want to see more Chris Stratton in this back end role. And not so much because I love Chris Stratton, but the Pirates have done so well at churning these relievers out. I mean, they just got Bryce Wilson for Rich Rod. Look at Melanson. R.I.P. Felipe. It's a good spot to be able to move a guy. And they're very replaceable. And for some reason, the market's still hot for them. And if you look at it, I believe Stratton has like a 6.30 ERA since August 1st, which is kind of when everything happened. But it's still like an 11 strikeout per 9 with 3 walks. Really, he's had 3, I think, bad outings. So at this point, I'd like to see more of him in this back end role because he's specifically a guy under control. He's a little up there age-wise, but unlike Bednar, you're probably going to look to move him next year. I think he's far more valuable now than he was at this deadline.
Yeah, I can't hate on that. Chris Stratton was a player I was thinking of as well. I like him. I'm almost like with you too. You know, he's really, my opinion of him at first is vastly different than right now. As a reliever, I think he has some really filthy stuff. So now that he's in more of a higher leverage role, per se, technically, I don't know if he'll seek and get those leverages for the rest of the year, but I like that.
Yeah, I mean, to just piggyback on what you said, Tyler, about, you know, the ERA, it is a little high, but it is because of just a few outings, right? So if you actually go back to, like mid-July, right? Every outing he's pitched has either been scoreless or he's given up more than 3 runs. So he's not going out there and he's given up like a run or like 2 runs. The bad outings that he's having, I feel like, are games where like they put him in, something's not right, but Shelton just leaves him in there anyways, right? I mean, it's so I'm not really sure. I kind of take those with a grain of salt a little bit. I mean, we saw that against the Cubs this past weekend, right? He pitched a scoreless inning, then they put him back out a second inning. He just clearly didn't have it. But Shelton just let him stay in there to give up 4 hits and 3 runs, right? So we're seeing that a lot, I feel like, later in the year now. But if you look, like he's not going out there and giving up a run, you know. So it's when things are falling apart for him. And I think if you were a regular manager managing a team who was out there trying to win games, he wouldn't have actually done that.
I love it.
So
if you're actually a regular manager,
no, I'm serious. If you were actually a manager and you were managing serious. A team and you were like actually trying to win games, none of those games would have happened for Stratton. They would have realized, hey, he doesn't have it today. He would have given up 1 run, maybe 2, instead of 3 and 4. But you look at it, all of his other games, scoreless, clean innings. No, I like that. I like that pick.
The other thing I like about
clean innings.
The other thing I like about it is the home run really hasn't been a problem. So you look at those bad outings, it's not like he's given up 3-run bombs, 2 homers, whatever it is. It's just, a little bad luck here. Something happens. He's still at, I think, a 3.5 FIP, something like that. I'm just intrigued at him in a back end role. I think it could net some value there next year.
Yeah, same. And it's like when we talked about this deadline, like he could be one of the more valuable pieces. Like he's kind of under the radar type. So maybe next year being put in that role, he could, demand some type of a trade.
And it also doesn't waste Bednar keeping him in that role. because if what Bednar's in that role, it's a waste.
Right.
He's never going to pitch.
Right. Mini tangent here. So what I find with Chris Stratton right now, which kind of stinks, and I'll bring up a name that's going to bring up some nightmares. But yes, Chris Stratton has been very Clay Holmes of 2021 right now. Like Clay Holmes is scoreless, and give up like 5 earned runs, right? Scoreless, 5 earned runs. But I think the difference is Chris Stratton has the past of being a good pitcher where Clay Holmes didn't. However, you guys know how Clay Holmes is just dominating right now in New York, right? Just completely just dominating, right? Like the walks are way down, the strikeouts are up, no runs coming. He's just looking filthy for the Yankees. So, yeah, that's about right. We need that 5. We need that 5-run outing come soon, so that way they can touch up the ERA.
You know what the difference is the Yankees don't leave him in there long enough when he is off to have a 5-run outing because they're a real team.
They have a real manager, a regular one of that.
They can't afford a relief pitcher to give up 5 runs. That's never going to happen.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. On the so far, Clay Holmes for the season, 15.2 innings pitched, 2.30 ERA. He's allowing 0.57 walks per 9. When he was with the Pirates, he was walking 5.36 per 9. So they fixed him.
Hey, we got Hoy Park.
Yeah.
Remember when we were all gloating about Hoy Park?
Yeah. Anyways.
Hey, we got Diego though. We're fine.
Diego's looking pretty good right now in AAA. So we can still hold on to that hope. I don't want to talk about Marcano. I don't want to talk about Marcano. I'm tired of seeing people talk about Marcano. I'm tired of hearing about
the future.
Bring him up and let's see what he has. We see what he has in AAA, and it's been
bad.
It's been bad.
His highlight package is a bunch of slap buns. What's the point of bringing him up
to the major leagues? I'm being dead serious about this part too. Like this is what I'm dead serious. I am over the whole. Well, put him up in the majors and see what he has. When you see what he has in AAA and it's bad, like what is that? What is going through people's minds? Like you just think, oh, we'll just bring him up and he'll be a different person. If he can't hit incompetent pitching, how's he going to go up against Zach Wheeler next weekend?
But hey, he broke spring with the Padres, so
I'm getting saltier over that trade.
And he can slap bunt
very well, and he's fast. Apparently, I don't know.
He is,
but he doesn't steal bases
because he's 120 pounds. So,
yeah, but he doesn't.
That's why he has slap bunt.
But he doesn't steal bases.
Each day that passes, and that's the other thing too.
Thank God Adam Frazier.
You know
sucked.
what? We really are doing tangents. I'm sorry, Jim, but I have some tangents too. This is gonna be our only segment, right? The future and then tangents. I'm so sick of also people like, well, Adam Frazier now has a 55 weighted runs created plus to justify like Marcano. Like, oh, he's bad now, so it's okay. What does it matter? At the time of the trade, this is what he has. It's not Cherington's fault that Adam Frazier is so superstitious that him showering in the wrong shower in San Diego has now made him a terrible player. You know, like it's not his fault. It doesn't like make that trade better now. It's still, I'm sorry. I didn't like the trade. I give him the pass because he clearly wanted him. But now that we're seeing Marcano, he's a slap bunt hitter. That's what he is. That's his highlight reel.
You know, this podcast is like a year away from trash in Cherington.
We're getting there.
Calm. Just stay
I
calm.
really do regret being so like level-headed at the deadline. Because I'm not a level-headed person.
Well, see, you're not. I try to be. I try to rationalize things. And I'll always defer. I mean, Ben Cherington is way smarter than the three of us combined. I mean, hopefully. Shelton, I mean, maybe. But Cherington, I'll say he definitely is. So it's like, you know what? If he saw something in Marcano, I'll at least get that to him. He sees something. So let's see what it pans out. I mean, we're still waiting, but we're still waiting. All right.
In Marcano's defense, this is the last thing I'll say. This is really his first taste of AAA pitching.
Well,
he went
up
from
to the majors and see what he has then. Just call him up.
I'm saying in Marcano's defense, not in any dumbass Pirates fans' defense. This is like his first taste. He went from high A to major leagues pretty much.
It is. It is.
Do I see anything that makes me excited? Hell no. Jim just wants to watch football.
Jim's just mad. He's like, can I get my turn now? It's my turn. Where's that Skip Bayless drop? It's my turn.
No,
you said I could go next.
Just to quickly say, right? I was never a fan of Marcano, right? But at the time of the trade deadline, there were all these reports saying that, this is somebody that Cherington wanted in the Musgrove deal. So it's somebody he'd been eyeing for a while. So in my mind, I was like, hey, maybe there's something here that I'm not seeing that Cherington is. And so far, he's not really showing anything. But.
And now that Musgrove deal doesn't look too hot either.
Bednar is good.
He is. He is.
And Andy Rodriguez looks good. I think people kind of forget about him.
Like 23 in an A ball.
He's not though.
21 in an A ball.
Yeah, it's just pretty age appropriate.
I'm guessing on his age at this point. I thought he was like 22.
Hopefully the Pirates aren't.
He just turned 21.
All right,
low A ball.
Go ahead, Jim.
Hudson Head is not exciting. That's the last thing I'll say.
On track.
So is it my turn to pick a player?
You can pick a player now, Jim. You can. I forget. Are we on batters or pitchers? I forget. Who did you pick, Tyler? Oh, Stratton.
He picked Chris Stratton.
We're on pitchers.
All right, so we're going pitchers. I'm going to go with the 23-year-old recently acquired Bryce Wilson. So far, like we've seen glimpses of him being pretty good, but he really hasn't put it all together yet. He's definitely like in the best stretch of his career, when it comes to sustained starts. He was kind of a spot starter for Atlanta the past really 3 years. He made his debut at age 20. So, he's kind of been up and down, up and down, up and down. He's really now just getting his first taste of being in a major league rotation full time. And he's been pretty good. I mean, he's basically been a league average pitcher through 6 starts with the Pirates, which at age 23, we'll take that, right? But if we're looking to see things, before the end of the year, he should get about 4 more starts, I would imagine. I would like to see a couple things. One, he's never really been a big strikeout guy at the major league level. Looking through the minors, he was always actually kind of more like around a strikeout per inning, right? So I would like to see him strike out a few more batters. And really just, I think he's got the makeup to be like a workhorse type starter, like not necessarily someone who's going to be like a 1 or 2, but like a very competent number 4 starter who can go out there and give you 200 innings in a year and basically just throws out, 2 to 3 war seasons year after year. Right. I think that's who he could be. So I'd like to see him just kind of find some more consistency, consistently pitch into the 6th inning at least, time after time, and a few more strikeouts I think wouldn't hurt.
I agree with you. I think, like you said, you need to see a little more length out of him, but at worst case, he's showing to this point, very small sample size, that, like you said, he could be a competent major league starter, which if you get that for a closer, I think you're thrilled with that. And I mean, I'll take it. He's nothing sexy, but he's a guy you need in the rotation, especially if he gets to a point where he can eat up some innings.
Yeah, I can't deviate much from what you guys said. Like when you look at the trade in itself, you're not looking for him, and you shouldn't expect for him to be like an ace. I think where he's going to like if he could become like what Tyler Anderson, like Tyler, you hope for better, but if he could become Tyler Anderson, essentially, that's what you want. A guy who can eat innings and give you some quality innings. I mean, Tyler Anderson by no means was bad this year. I mean, that says something. Like he was a good pitcher. I mean, the Seattle Mariners said we want Tyler Anderson and traded. Actually, there was 2 teams that wanted Tyler Anderson. The Phillies wanted him too, and screw that up. So the Mariners came in. So like if he could become basically Tyler Anderson, like that's not a bad thing. I don't say that in a bad light. Hope for better, but there's definitely value in that. Any tangents? We good?
Hopefully we can get something like that for Chris Stratton next year.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, you can never have enough guys that are going to put up a 4 ERA and hopefully eat 170 innings.
Well, right.
Yeah, and I said
you just also want
that's
guys
who
that might
he
put
is,
up a
right?
3 ERA.
Yeah.
We can't have all of them be 4 ERA guys.
At this point, I'll take them all at 4.
Well, for 2021, I'll be good with that.
That's true. I'll take 5.
I'll just take 170 innings.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, just give me 170 because they're not that bad if you pitch that many innings for the Pirates next year. All right, so the guy I am going to choose here that it's not that I'm that interested in this person, right? But if we're talking about the next 22 games, it might think too, like I said here, I've basically seen for the most part all I've needed to out of everybody. So the way I kind of look at this is like guys who maybe haven't had a full season or newer or such. So like me, I'm kind of looking at Dylan Peters because he is newer. He does have control. Like even though he's 29 years old, he's got a little over a year of service time. So theoretically, like he can have control with the Pirates. And with that said, too, the Pirates need pitching. So does Dylan Peters provide some intrigue? At the time of the trade, I said no. I don't care about Dylan Peters. But at this point in time, seeing him pitch, he has been effective. Very small sample, right? But he has been effective. So to me, let me see what you can keep doing. He has reportedly worked on the changeup. He says he wants to incorporate and use it more, which that has been the case. He comes a bit of a pedigree. I mean, when he was with the Marlins, he was their number 11 prospect at the time with them. He was in their system rated the best pitchers for control, right? He had the best control in their farm system. So like there's some qualities long time ago about him that you can appreciate. When you look at his career, the changeup, he was first using it in 2017, 12.7%. 2018, he's using it 12.3%. So really nothing at all. Mainly the four seam heavy. And right now he's mixed it up. So this season he's using the changeup 34% of the time, the four seamer 32%. So Jim, I think you made a joke about this. Also, I'll give you credit, but like he's using the changeup more. So theoretically, is the fastball now the changeup? As you said,
right? Exactly. Yeah.
Like here's the perfect example of that. There's the case. His changeup is his featured pitch. The fastball is like the off speed per se, but it's been very effective. So I mean, the whiff rate on it is 40%. Like guys aren't hitting his changeup. They're whiffing on it. They're missing it. He's using it the most. So how does this work out the rest of the season? Does this sustain? Albeit it's probably going to be 3 more starts for him, if that. Because there's really a chance this rotation next year, no one's locked in. It could feature Dylan Peters. So, and with all the crunches, does Dylan Peters hang around? This could be a big 22-game stretch for him.
Pass. Not interested whatsoever in Dylan Peters.
Will Crow or Dylan Peters?
Neither.
I mean, that's fair.
Shelby Miller.
Yeah, I mean here's the thing with Peters. Like everything you said is true, right? Everything you said is true. But he's 29 years old. As you mentioned, I think the reason why the changeup isn't being hit right now is because, maybe hitters don't know that he's going to throw it half the time yet. And like once they figure that out, he's just going to get crushed like he always has been his entire career.
So, and that's perfectly fine. That's why I want to see it, because in the next 22 games, right?
Yeah.
That happens. Yeah. I know. Let's move on. But if he's still doing it, it's sustaining. Now I have a little bit of intrigue in him. And also his curveball.
Fair enough.
Curveball is pretty nice too, although he doesn't throw it at all.
I personally think you should have taken Chad Kuhl and piggybacked off my pick.
You know what? I didn't, because
we would have made fun of you.
Well, partly that, but partly too is I don't think it's going to change much. Like to see Chad Kuhl do whatever, like he could go scoreless the rest of the year. I don't think it's going to change much for me, anyone. Like going into this offseason, it's still just whatever. I don't think he becomes trade bait at the at the winter meetings because of the next few games. Because also think about this too. Also, he had a really bad outing as his reliever. So like he's not gonna as a reliever give you like this. Oh, as a starter he had a 4 whatever it was ERA, but as a reliever he had like a .096. And here you go. Let me present this Chad Kuhl to you. To me, I don't think there's much that could change my perception right now of Chad Kuhl, which is already high. So higher than most. I'll put it that way. Not high, but higher than you two's for sure.
Yeah, I just don't give a shit about Dylan Peters.
All right.
I don't want to. I don't want to watch. I don't care to watch 4 innings of 2-run ball with 4 strikeouts and 2. Well, not 4 strikeouts. That's way too many. With like 3 strikeouts and 2 walks.
And so here's the other thing.
Yeah, I know this
was a huge issue for him. And albeit small sample, got to keep saying that it is small sample, but he hasn't been getting up the long ball in PNC. And it actually has come down in Indy when he was with them too. So again, little intrigue. He's on my radar of the 60 guys that are competing for the 40-man roster next year, which includes Marcano or Peters. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's
I don't
go.
Give a shit about Dylan Peters.
Jim's pissed.
No, I'm good. It is back to Tyler,
right.
Hitter. We went through our 3 pitchers.
I guess I got to do it. I'm taking Brian Reynolds. He's the only reason this team has been watchable this year. I know DiNardo's going to give me a scowl, but look down the list of guys we have to choose from on this major league roster. Jim already took one.
What do you need to see from Brian Reynolds?
I don't need to see anything. I want to see more just because he's enjoyable to watch. Nobody else is. Look down the lineup. They all suck. Like, hidden in this absolutely awful Pirate season, there's been one bright spot, and it's Brian Reynolds putting up one of the best seasons a Pirate has put up in the last probably 25 years. We'll go there. One of.
Okay. I'll give it.
Not the best, no. Giles and Kutch had their years, but aside from them, he's putting up one of the best. There's one reason to watch this team, and he's the only thing that makes this team watchable.
Hard to argue that.
Are you not entertained?
By the rest of that lineup, hell no.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, what else can we say about Reynolds at this point? Awesome, it's an awesome year.
He's better than Andrew McCutchen. You could say that.
The numbers that he is putting up right now.
You could say that, Jim. You could say that. Jim.
No one.
You could say it was a good.
No
trade.
one has had a season
Jim.
like this
Jim.
since Andrew McCutchen, right? So
the guy who was traded for Jim. I love how you just ignored it. You'll just not. You'll never appreciate that trade. I get it, Mr. Andrew McCutchen Jr.
You know what the Joe Musgrove trade's like? when you guys said Bednar's having a good year, it's like if Kyle Crick would have had a good career and Brian Reynolds would have been awful. Don't care if the reliever's good.
Well, no, I mean that's absolutely fair. That is like obviously you're trading Musgrove. You want more than Bednar. You can say Bednar is having a good season and Bednar looks legit. So there's one plus. The rest is unknowns. We don't really know yet. But if that is what it pans out to be, then yes, it would be like trading Andrew McCutchen and getting Kyle Crick, a better version of Kyle Crick and no Reynolds. Okay. All right, Jim, you can go again.
Jim just wants to get out of here.
No, I don't have anything to add. That's all.
There's not much to add on Brian Reynolds. He's good.
My player, I mean, we talk another guy who's really the only reason to watch this team, Ke'Bryan Hayes. We've talked a lot about just how amazing he is defensively. We talked on Starbucks about how he's not even having that great of an offensive season. I think he's right around 90 weighted runs created plus, somewhere in that area, 92. But even with that, he's on a 2.5 win pace, right? Being a below league average hitter. So what I want to see the rest of this month, I will say this. First off, I love leadoff Ke'Bryan Hayes. I love him in the leadoff spot. Keep him there. He's actually, I mean, it's only been 4 games now.
Okay.
But he has performed in each and every one of those 4 games. He's getting on base. He's got a 444 on base percentage. And really, you look at the way the offense has, we've actually looked half decent, with him there in the leadoff spot. So keep him at leadoff. I want to see that. It also gives him, as many at bats as possible. But I would love to see him start driving the ball more. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Hopefully, we're further past this hand injury. Hopefully he keeps feeling better and better. He needs to get his slugging percentage up. And in order to do that, he needs to drive the ball, which he is not doing right now. He's just, he's not, the launch angle isn't there. He's not hitting line drives. He's not barreling up balls because he's hitting everything into the dirt. So I need to see Ke'Bryan Hayes finish this year strong, finish the year like, how we saw him at the end of last year, or we saw him in spring training this year, where he was just driving the ball. I want to see him drive the ball to end the year to give me a little bit, of a good feeling heading into the offseason and into next year, because I truly think Ke'Bryan Hayes is a better hitter than what he's shown right now. Mm-hmm. And I want him to show it these last few weeks.
I really regret my first 2 weeks of baseball when I was talking about how amazing Ke'Bryan Hayes is after my long, probably year stretch of saying slow down on the bat, because I was just grasping for any hope. But truthfully, there's just so much work to be done with that bat. He pounds the ball into the ground. At some point, we're going to learn how to use a heat map of the strike zone and figure out where he can actually hit the baseball. Because we had a nice little text conversation and no one understanding what we were looking at.
It just didn't make sense.
It's so weird, though. I said in that chat, too. I was like, it made me... I actually questioned. I was like, wait a minute. Is Hayes lefty? I was like, no, he's not. So wait, he's not. That's correct.
But just looking at his swing, he's just so off balance with everything. And I know he drives, when he's on, he's driving the ball the other way. But the league has adjusted to him, and he's had ample time to adjust back. We really just got to see it. And maybe he just needs to go to his brother and get some hitting tips.
You think Charlie can help him out?
If not, he'll just complain about everyone else. So
I hate to be the new hitting coach. Yeah, I'm with everything that you said, Jim. I unfortunately have my doubts that will transpire over the next 22 games, but I would certainly want to see that. It just doesn't seem that's the direction it's going. But I'm all for leadoff Cabrian Hayes. I like it. He's effective. It's not by any change. It doesn't seem, at least, it's by any change he's made, right? It's still pounding the ball into the dirt for the most part, but the hits are there so far. I like it. And hey, you got a stolen base the other day too.
Yeah, keep him there. There's more to that bat than there is. The thing, like we talk about the bat, there's a lot of work that he's done, but he's still hitting the ball hard. Like if you look at that, like, he is still hitting it hard. He's just driving it right into the ground. So we just need to change where he's hitting it. So yeah, that's the thing with him. You just got to drive the ball.
Yeah, the swing and miss isn't terrible. I mean, there definitely is something there, but they need to find someone to fix it.
Yep.
Because if Cabrian Hayes is out there putting up 2-win seasons and it's all defense, it's really
imagine.
Oh God, that's not fun. I don't want to.
No,
it'll be like
Polanco. Just imagine if he does have the good bat. If he's put up 2 worse seasons with the glove.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Now we're looking at a 5-6 win player.
Right.
If he just like puts up Pablo Sandoval type numbers at the plate.
Which year?
The good year.
Okay. He's
like
quite
I'm
the
talking
anomaly
115
too.
to 120.
All right. Yeah, I'm with that. All right, so I guess we'll move on to me. I can wrap this up. My guy I'm picking is Colin Moran. It still does go with my theme here. Like I said, for the most part, I've seen what I want to see out of most players, right? Unless there's like a shortened season or you're new. And Colin Moran kind of fits that. He's had the injuries. It's been a bit of a shortened season for him. It's funny. I know, Jim, I think on Twitter you joked about this. The Pirates Twitter account posted out that the Colin Moran's on a tear. I don't know so much about a tear, but he isn't terrible. So that's a good thing. Since he's come back from the IL, he does have a 107 weighted runs created plus. So he is 7% above average, right? He's batting .271, 427 slugging. He's got 4 home runs, 3 doubles, in 107 plate appearances. So by no means is he bad. I just also wouldn't identify that as a tear, right? You're average. Congrats. But anything that looks average right now for the Pirates is pretty exciting. But here's the thing. There's been a lot of talk and debate about Colin Moran, right? Like, what's his future for the Pirates? We had it early on this season. We've talked about it a little later. I see it a lot on Twitter. Like, is this guy part of the future? Are you okay with releasing him, finding something else? And even like with Yoshi, like you and I, Jim, talked about it on like Starbucks. If you were to make the decision right now and you had to choose one or the other, who would you pick? And I think both of us said Yoshi for the same reasons, that because he at least presents intrigue and interest. He could give you more. He could give you less. We know what Moran is, and he's kind of just stable. So I would like to see Moran actually go on that tear to end this season and maybe give us some hope going into 2022, because he had a fantastic 2020 season. At the beginning of this year, before he went to the IL, very similar, 122 plate appearances opposed to 107, but 121 rated runs created plus, a 468 slugging. Like, he looked good. It looked like a carryover from 2020. And you're saying, wow, like this is the new and improved Colin Moran. Heads to the IL, has all these issues. He's still productive. It's not as if he's like looked terrible. Like we're talking about Cabrian Hayes. It's not like Moran has come back and looked like Hayes. But it would be nice to see him maybe get that power back, right? Maybe get the hitting a little bit better so you can head into 2022, maybe feel like, Colin Moran can be a good player. Let's keep him here, and maybe he can be a very productive first baseman next year when all the injuries and everything goes behind him. And that's what I say about Moran. Tyler's shaking his head.
Pass. I don't need a first baseman with a 107 WRC plus.
What about a 121?
I think about it, but he won't do that.
But what if he did?
But he won't. We doing like Night at the Roxbury?
Sure.
I think when it comes to Moran, yeah, you definitely. I mean, you would rather see him end hot than cold. I do think we're to the
Hot
point
take.
though. I do think we're to the point though where like he is what he is, and what he is an average to slightly above average hitter who really can't play defense. So
Or run.
or run. Yeah, I mean, it's
with no power.
so it's like, what are we really doing here? I'm a full proponent in, Colin Moran's probably on this team next year. Like he doesn't suck, but he's just not good either. Like he's just a guy who will do the job and he won't suck at it. I mean,
He's like a purgatory first baseman.
right. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to first baseman, we've had a lot of bad luck. So I mean, he looks like he's on a tear all the time because our first basemen typically they're terrible.
Colin Moran's probably like the second best first baseman we've had in 10 years.
I guess because Kevin Young, Colin Moran.
It's like the 1 year of Garrett Jones,
Right.
Colin Moran.
So I think he is what he is, but like you mentioned, I'd rather, let's see him end the year like he started the year. That would be good to see, I guess.
Pirates first basemen really have sucked, haven't they, Leonardo?
Slight tangent. No, you got the wheel spinning. Slight tangent. Colin Moran has gotten true. Is it fair to say Colin Moran has gotten some hate in his 10 years of Pirates, right? Like he sucks. Colin Moran, blah, blah, blah. Of course, a lot of it's probably tied with the Cole trade, but regardless, he's probably gotten a lot more hate than love. Is that fair, you think? Colin Moran
cares
on the 2000. Maybe not hate, but just like he's not a good player.
I don't think anybody appreciates him, but I don't know if he's done anything.
I know where you're going, Donardo.
Better
I know where
usage.
you're going.
Colin Moran on the 2013 Pirates. Like
he would have been a very good role player on that team. Like because there were enough other pieces.
They might have beat the Cardinals.
That's where I'm going with this. As much, I think appreciate is a better word. Appreciate, not so much hate. I don't think he's appreciated much. But on a terrible team as the Pirates, right? He's not appreciated. I would starve to have Colin Moran on those Pirate teams. That's where we're at in those Pirate teams, I feel.
Well, Clint Hurdle would have still thrown out like Gabby Sanchez every third day. Because he loved his platoons.
Here's the thing with Gabby Sanchez.
He actually was.
I know he hit lefties well.
No, Gabby Sanchez.
Yeah, I know. He had like a 110, 109 WRC plus, something like that.
118. So like Gabby Sanchez in 2013 was better than Colin Moran's ever done.
Yeah, but he was specifically used against lefties.
All right. So what if you had Gabby Sanchez? So instead of Garrett Jones or whoever you just had Colin Moran, there's been no difference.
Yeah, but now we're getting back into my 2013 arguments, and I hate platoons. They bore me. They annoy me. Because then we're subbing, and then at the end of the game, we end up with a sucky first baseman like some scrub Sean Rodriguez. Yeah, I know he wasn't on the team then, but he's the first name that came to my mind.
Josh Harrison
was terrible in 2013.
In 2013, that's probably who it was. It was either Josh Harrison or Brandon Inge.
Brandon Inge. There you go.
Brandon Inge did not last too long.
No. Did he make it? He didn't make it out of May, did he?
Brandon Inge played 50 games in 2013.
So he didn't make it out of May then, right?
Yeah, he had one game where he hit a home run. I remember that.
The ladies liked him.
2013. Garrett Jones, that was when they traded for him more now.
Yeah. Who sucked?
But in 2012, I could tell you Clint Barnes played a game at first base. Well, extra innings.
So then 2014, Ike Davis, Ishikawa, Gabby Sanchez.
Jesus Christ.
All right. So then fine. Let's pinpoint to 2014. So I apologize. I was a year too early because 2014 Gabby Sanchez, no bueno. 93 weighted runs created plus.
To be fair, Ike Davis was pretty close to Colin Moran.
Pretty close.
He's like,
he was a 108.
yeah.
He walked a lot.
They're pretty much
though.
the same player.
He walked. Actually, I didn't realize how much Ike Davis walked until I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, he just gave up on hitting home runs.
He really did. So 2014, I would take Colin Moran.
Okay.
Hello, it took taking him in 2015 when Pedro was making 18 errors a game.
Also that. Let's move on. Why do we have to go back? Pirates had good seasons in the back. Why do we always go back and reflect poorly when we're already miserable about this season? Like, let's not go back and like enjoy the past. Like, oh, the Pirates are good in 13. Let's talk about the good stuff. Like, we're going back and just like making ourselves miserable even more about the
good stuff's always ruined.
How about today? Today's the 8th year anniversary of the Pirates' 82nd win in 2013. Ended the 20-year drought.
Very nice. We should be celebrating that, and yet we're just excited that we're 22 games away from this season ends.
I was 19 years old, and that was my first winning season.
I'm so sorry.
Yep. First winning season of your life.
Yep.
2013. Yeah.
Young, immature, naive Tyler, 19 years old.
Angry.
What did you think about the future of the Pirates at that time?
At that point, I was buying into what Huntington was spilling.
I was going to say, this
just because everything else hadn't worked. No, not a dynasty. Just I was buying into the Rays philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to trade them all. Just got to keep trading them. Wheel them deal. And then that didn't work.
Well,
but did you guys have any honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions of what? People we want to see?
Yeah.
I mean, the mentions that we just mentioned weren't really honorable, but so I don't know.
So I do slightly want to see a little more Michael Chavis. I know he's bad.
I mean, it's fair.
I'm okay seeing a little more out of him in hopes that literally my top hopes for him are that he maybe turns into an Odor in his good years. And that's a very far-fetched dream. But the Pirates have no power.
I mean, the Yankees apparently feel like they need an Odor, so I guess I can accept that.
I'm just going to latch on to anything with power that this team has.
For an Austin Davis, I'll take an Odor.
We're not going to get an Odor out of that, but
yeah, I agree. That's a good honorable mention. And obviously, like, none of us said Keller, but it would be cool if Keller could string some good starts together.
I don't think he's looked bad in his last two. I mean,
he hasn't looked terrible, but like I would like to see him like finally take the next step, but who knows if that's ever gonna happen.
Baby steps, Jim.
To go on with the honorable mention and baby steps, I guess the baby steps with Keller is he's not really dancing and throwing a bunch of balls. Like he's hitting the strike zone. So maybe if we are talking baby steps, he's taking some. But also the way I look at it, he's got like 3 starts left. He's got a bad one. So 2 are going to be good. 1's going to be bad anyway. So he probably will finish the season on a better note than a worse note because of his trajectory.
I mean, he's not walking and he's striking out pretty much 1 per inning. So that's a little slightly encouraging, even though it's been against awful teams.
Baby steps. I'm all good with it right now. I don't really have an honorable mention.
I'd also like to watch a little bit Luis Oviedo a little bit more. I just think the stuff plays.
Yeah.
I just want to see a little. I want to see a little bit more out of him.
To me, I feel like just get this season over with. Get him in the minors next year, and like let me see what he really does, and then come up. It's not that I'm over him and think he's done. He's garbage and he stinks. It's just I don't think this year is going to change or do anything for me. Just ride out the 22 games that you need to do to keep him, and then make him like a real actual player next year, wherever he goes.
Do you think he goes back to being a starter?
I would.
I want to see why not. If Blake Searland's going to start, I don't see why you wouldn't start him. He actually was a starter. and has stuff that
Yeah.
can play as a starter. So I would say so.
Yeah, I'd probably do the same.
Where do you think he starts?
Altoona, probably.
Yeah, probably
Kind of
double.
my thought.
I mean, he's only going to be, what, 22?
He's 22 right now.
Well, yeah, turned 22 during the season. So it's technically his, no, I guess, yeah. So he'll be 23 next year. Yeah. So throw him in Altoona, put him in the Altoona rotation, see what happens.
Yeah. It's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Though that
That's about
rotation might
everyone
have
I'm
like a
interested
9-man
in.
rotation, I feel.
Just piggyback everybody.
There you go. No relievers.
Who needs them?
I like it.
Is it no relievers or everyone's a reliever?
All right. Jim's angry. He's still seething. This has gone over an hour. He's missing his football time.
I am not seething.
Yes, you are. You're pissed, Jim. Don't let the
I'm
listeners don't fool the listeners. You're so angry right now.
You're right. I'm so mad.
All right. So we'll get out of here. We'll be back next week when there's like 17 games left. So we'll talk to you then. Not that anyone's counting. We'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Cyber Scouts.
See you guys.